All right. So I got to find a new place, a new thrift store to go to. I had something even worse than being yelled at by a crazy old lady happen yesterday. And I posted that I was going to make a video about it. This is that video. Um, so I went to my favorite thrift store. It's a Goodwill that barely any other, well, there's like maybe 5 resellers who go there regularly. Most of the other resellers in this area don't even know that Goodwill is there, which is why it's been a really good place to source, because with all the resellers in this area, it can be hard to find things at most of the other thrift stores because of how many resellers there are here. But anyway, and there used to be another really good one like a mile away from that one, but they, for some reason, corporate decided to close it, which is stupid because they completely lied about the reason they were closing it. The corporate claimed that they were closing it because they couldn't afford the building. And then like 2.5, 3 years after they closed it, corporate reopened it as a place for like a food pantry for people who can't afford the food or whatever to go to get free food. And that's after lying about saying that they couldn't afford the payment on the building. Come to find out, from what I was told, they actually own the building. But the reason for closing it years ago, when it was a thrift store, was, oh, we can't afford the payment. It's $8,000 a month or whatever. I'm like, okay. And then 2.5, 3 years later, they reopened as a food pantry. Anyway, which means they lied about why they closed the thrift store. They just wanted to turn it into a food pantry, even though no one even uses it. I go by there pretty much daily and never see anyone other than the people that work there's car there. But it has turned into almost like a tent city behind it, though. All the homeless people are putting their tents around it. Anyway, last night I went to what used to be, until last night, my favorite thrift store. And so I'm walking around. I already got a cart full of stuff. I'm doing pretty good, actually. And I go to the backpack sections because I was trying to find another Loungefly bag, because I've had luck lately. I've found 2 of them in the last, well, I found the Pokemon one like a month ago, or month and a half ago, and then I found the one that already sold like a week ago, and then that sold as soon as I listed it. The Pokemon one still hasn't sold yet for some reason. I don't get that. The other one sold instantly. I think it's because of the style of the bag. Pretty much some people want the other style like the other one was, instead of the one that everybody else has, because that was a different style that Loungefly is not really known for, I think, is why it sold so fast. But anyway, I'm walking around. I go look at the backpacks, and I move one backpack to the side, and there's another backpack sitting there on the rack, or on the hook, or whatever you want to call it, like it's put there for sale by Goodwill. And there's like a little, like a see-through like pouch on the front of it, and there's a syringe, a lighter, and actual like drugs and who knows what else in the bag. So I tell the employees, oh, there's a bag back there and it has drugs in it and it has a syringe and all this. They're like, okay. So I don't think anything of it. I'm walking around, find a bunch more stuff, wound up with a cart that's overflowing, and wound up with like a leather coat or not a leather coat, but a fur coat and a ton of other stuff. And then I go to check out, and then that's when all hell breaks loose. I'm being questioned about what's in that bag and what kind of drugs it is and this and that. I'm like, I have no idea. I saw it there and I told an employee. They said they were going to deal with it or whatever. And so I wind up being treated like I'm stashing drugs at Goodwill. After all the hundreds of thousands of dollars I've spent at that one location, maybe even more than that I've spent at that one location, I get treated like I'm stashing drugs at Goodwill because I found a fucking bag with drugs at Goodwill. So I spend probably an hour and a half, 2 hours being questioned about this bag that's not even mine and what's in it and this and that. I'm like, I told you I don't know. It's not mine. I didn't even open it. I just saw the pouch on the front because it was see-through. You could see the syringe and some kind of what I assumed was drugs along with a lighter in the little see-through pouch. Anyway, so like I said, they spent the next hour and a half, or maybe even longer than that, questioning me about the contents of that backpack. And most likely, it was put there by either one of the tweakers that was wandering around the Goodwill or one of the employees, because there's one particular employee at that Goodwill that looks like she's fucking tweaking out of her mind every time I see her. And the first time I met the bitch, she treated me like absolute shit. And then a week later, she acted like she never even met me because she's on fucking drugs. And she was working yesterday when I found that bag. So if I had to guess, out of all the employees there, she would be the first one I pointed at that maybe it's her bag. Because, like I said, she has that. She looks like a tweaker, acts like a tweaker, completely forgets she met people. One day, I was in there one day 3 times. I went in the morning. I went like around lunchtime. And then I went that evening. I saw her the first time. It's like she was all on another planet somewhere, oblivious to everything going on around her. Then that evening, she was there, and she was talking about the last time she saw me, like a month before that. I'm like, I just saw you this morning. She's like, really? And like I said, there were multiple other people in there that looked like they were on drugs, including one lady that was walking around in there carrying several bags of who knows what. But I'm the one that gets treated like the fucking druggie or someone who's stashing drugs to be sold at Goodwill, or who knows what the fuck they were thinking. And that's why I'm never going to that thrift store ever again. I might not ever go to another Goodwill after dealing with that shit. Because I've spent hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars at that one location. And then I've made the mistake of alerting employees because I see a fucking backpack hanging with kids running around everywhere, and it has a fucking syringe in it, a lighter, and what looked like drugs in a clear pouch on the front of the backpack where anyone could see it. But I was treated like I stashed it there, and that I knew what was inside the other compartments of the backpack, which I didn't look, so I didn't know. But yeah, that's why I'm never going there again. And like I said, I might not ever go to another Goodwill after that, because that's complete and utter bullshit.